Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I don't know what time it is where you are, but right now it is time for more insight. This is insight you can trust because there's more where it came from. Make sure you comment, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're trying to do some great things, and I have some big news coming up for you all. So make sure you all stay tapped in. Right now, this is more insight. I'm your host, Chris Moore. Like I said, today with me, y'all, I have a special guest. And let me see here. There's a difference. It's 2026. Happy New Year to you. There's a difference between being busy and being purposeful. And today's conversation is someone who plays the long game, but who understands that success isn't loud when it's real. And vision doesn't need applause to move forward. Tarek is a builder, not just of brands, but of trust, opportunity, and culture. I've heard it. I've seen it for myself. He's been in rooms where deals are made quietly, where handshakes mean more than the headlines, and where consistency is the currency, y'all. We're not going to rush through this interview because it's a lot of things to unpack. We talking business, we talking golf, we talking legacy, and what the next chapter in 2026 looks like. Let's get into it. Tarek DeLavallade. There we
Yeah,
go.
DeLavallade. Yep.
I totally had it in my head.
Oh,
I just couldn't get my mouth to say it right.
you won't be you're not the first or the last. You won't be the last, so it's fine. No, man, but I'm happy to be here, man. Thank you. That was a hell of an intro. I need to make sure we got that so I can give it to somebody else for my next time.
Hey man, I try to take some time and work on these. I know that we have a golf background, so I try to incorporate golf with like you as a person, and I just try to get a good blend, and I'm glad that you were satisfied. I'm happy with it. I want to ask you this question first and foremost. It's a new year. It's a new chapter. This chapter in your life, if you could name it any type of movie, this is your movie. You got the script. You the director. You the executive producer. You run the entire thing. What's the name of this movie? What's the name of this chapter in your life?
He did it his way.
I'm not mad at that. It's actually a really good song too. Shouts out to Frank Sinatra.
Yeah. Sometimes there's the way, and then there's your way. And doing it my way is not about it being my way, but there are other people who play safe. I don't play the safe game. Isn't always. I'm not everyone's fan, but I got more fans than I have people who don't love me. So I think it's a matter of choice. It's like taste, right? There's some folks who
Yep.
like licorice, and some folks who think it's the most gross thing you've ever had in your life. But for me, doing it my way is really about just taking risks. And I've taken a lot of those over the last 7 years.
I love it, man. One of my favorite quotes is, "You like to win small. I like to win big." And it seems that you have that same mindset. I want to win big at what I do. Let me ask you this. Speaking to that mindset,
Yeah.
winning big, what does that mean to you as far as your life goes?
I mean, I think there's winning big, but then it's who am I winning big for? Think that I've ever really been about me. You can look and it's, people say, well, no, I mean, if you look at when I started from Deuce in 2019, it wasn't about me per se, but it was like the culture didn't have a golf brand that was unique. And right then in 2019, it was only Eastside and me that you can go online and actually buy something that was made by a black man or a black person. So if you want to buy like a golf shirt or a golf hat or a sweatshirt or a golf glove in 2019, there was only 2 companies you could do that. And so for me, it wasn't about being the first at something. It was just like getting something done. Right. So I've done a lot of things over my time, but again, it wasn't about big. It was about just doing it well. And for however long I can do it for.
All right. So take me back. What started this whole entrepreneurial mindset for you? Was it, or what was the first thing that you ever sold or promoted?
In 1990, I was a 10th grader, and I decided to start a hat company called, it didn't have a name, but I went to De La Salle Institute in Chicago, which is an all-boys Catholic school. And this was around the time where Spike Lee was doing everything. And that was that Brooklyn Dodgers hat that was white with the on it with that old English D for the Dodgers. And so I was like, these are dope, but I went to De La Salle. So I said, I'm going to actually make a custom hat. And it was the same thing. So I designed it, had them made and produced. And again, I'm 15, 16 years old, 16 probably at this time.
Mhm.
And I ordered like 24, sold them all like in 2 days. The baseball team bought some, staff bought some, just, the dean of students bought them. They were like, we need more of these. So then I bought like another 100 and something of these things. And next thing you know, people around the school are wearing them. I was being let out of class a little early so I could set up in the hallway to sell them. But it's just being an entrepreneur. I started my entrepreneurial spirits in high school, but what really gave me the push was junior achievement. I was involved in junior achievement as a youngster. I remember who exactly was on my executive team. We met like once every other week at this company called Stone Container in Chicago, and they just showed us how to start a business. And from there, I've just had this entrepreneurial spirit since high school. So I had like 2 companies in high school that I owned and ran, and then it just kept going.
So it's just basically second nature for you to just build. Am I right?
Yeah. I'm a vision, build, execute. And I have no problem with starting fresh and starting new again, because I think all these things are opportunities for me to be able to see something through vision to execution. And then if it lasts 2 years or 4 years, there's always another business opportunity or business idea that comes in my head. So, yeah.
As an entrepreneur, culture is a big thing. So how do you develop culture in a work environment or in a startup or in the entrepreneurial space?
Culture is what's built. Like the largest team that I've had was when I owned a company called My Golf Concierge, and we did
Mm,
custom golf travel around the world. And we did that from 2009 all the way through 2014. And I had a team of like 9 of us. We were in
mm,
Orlando, big office, we were jamming. But I built this culture around them because I had young people working for me. But culture for me today, very different from what culture meant then.
yeah.
I was the only Black guy in my office. Everybody who worked for me was from England or from Venezuela or Colombia or from Puerto Rico or just from Florida. So it was different. I was the culture in my office as the head of it. But now culture for me is like our culture. I come from
Yeah.
Chicago. I'm a Black kid from the South Side of Chicago. Grew up in a Black neighborhood. All my friends were Black that were in my neighborhood. I went to a very multicultural school in elementary school through high school, and that's where I got opportunities and access to people of other cultures. But for me, being Black and being proud to be Black has always been something for me. Now I'm able to lean into culture in a way where I'm affecting people who are, whether you align yourself with the term Black or African
Mhm.
American. But that is really like now that's 100% of pretty much what I do, minus the promotional product companies that I own.
What's one of your proudest things that you've done as an entrepreneur? I would say over the last, let's say, 5 years.
Bringing United Golfers Association back from being dormant for 47 years.
Tell me more about that. Why was it dormant for 47 years?
UGA, United Golfers Association, is an organization that's always been around, that has been at the forefront of diversity in the sport of golf. It was started in 1925, so we just kind of clipped our 100 year. We've accomplished a lot in that time, but UGA was essentially the Negro League of golf. When you
Oh,
think
wow.
of like going back to Charlie Sifford, Lee Elder, and Teddy Rhodes, and Pete Brown, and Renee Powell, and Althea Gibson, going way back to like the 30s and 40s, all the way through the 70s, we were the pipeline. We were the ecosystem for Black golf. We had up to 10,000 members at one time, going into the early 1970s. And we were the ones that our organization was partially the organization that helped to fund suing the PGA of America to get the whites only clause kind of flipped over. There was a lot of other people involved, but our organization was at the forefront of making sure that that got done. The organization was dissolved in 1976, 77. Um, uh, you know, I'd say sometimes when you allow certain people into your room. It's kind of like, and people ask me questions, and look, I feel like safe spaces are relative these days. But now,
Yeah.
when you think of the movie Sinners, right? When the big guy came, he was hanging out in there all day. And he left. He goes to the bathroom, and he came
Yeah.
back, and he was like, "Hey, you're not gonna invite me back in?" And they were like, "What do you mean? You
Right.
was already here. Why I need
Yep.
to put you back in here?" So, but once you invite vampires or people who
Mhm.
don't have true intention on seeing success or warm, genuine feelings to see you succeed and those who you affect and their support, then when you let them in your room, open up your doors to them, sometimes, but not always, they come in and do harm. And what happened is UGA allow someone else to come in and play in the tournament. It was always
Okay.
called the Negro Championship, and they allowed somebody who wasn't back then. The term would be Negro, so it was black play. They won the
Yeah.
tournament, and then the next year, Bill said, "Hey, I'm gonna invite a few other of my pals to
Oh
come in."
yeah.
And then they came in, and it's like, wait. How did this happen? And so, with that being said, what ended up happening is it dissolved. People, you gotta think there was like Chicago Women's Golf Club and Wake Robin
Yeah.
in DC and Chicago and the Western States Golf Association. All these organizations have been around, and these are all regional and local organizations, but they were all members of one organization. They all rolled up
Mhm.
to UGA, and they just basically unilaterally decided that they were going to just, split away. And you saw tournaments still happening, like the Chitlin Circuit, that fizzled out over time. But to
Yeah.
answer the question, my proudest moment is bringing back the organization and doing something really special with it over the last 5 years.
And you have a love for golf. Where did this love for golf start?
My grandfather
Okay.
golf was introduced to me at the age of 4. My grandfather, Charles Fouché Sr., was the first black man to be given the opportunity to host competitive amateur golf events at Jackson Park Golf Course back in the late 60s. And
Mhm.
he ran golf events, competitive, amateur, and pro, funded them. His friends and associates were judges and lawyers and owned businesses and entrepreneurs. They put the money behind a lot of the pros who played and who needed money. So, like, when you think back, uh, James Black, when he would play, he would rather go play in a skins game or a money game with the fellas than to go play
Mhm.
on the PGA Tour, because he knew he could make more money on the skins game and on these money games with these guys, because there was big dollars being moved around back in the 70s and the 60s. So yeah, but my grandfather introduced me to golf, and I could probably grab it, but my first golf club is sitting right there. Is a putter with the copper head and black tape as a grip. I never changed the tape. I never changed the grip. I always wanted to keep it the same way it was when I got it.
Man, that's dope. My first golf club is probably in a river somewhere on some golf course. I was definitely like, yeah, I was, let me see here. I'm turning 40 this year. So I was maybe 35 when I picked up my first golf club and
Really?
actually started playing. My son won't have that same testimony. He won't have that same experience. I have his first golf club up here in my office here. And it's actually a wedge. That was for a photo shoot that we ended up just, keeping as a keepsake. But he also has some clubs as well. I don't take him out often because
Yeah,
4-year-olds tend to do whatever they want to do. Especially him being independent. Yeah, he wants to play in the sand. He wants to do everything else but play. So I
right.
said I'll revisit it in a couple of years.
How old is he now?
He's 4. He turns 5 in September.
Yeah, it was for me. Billiards and golf were what I was introduced to at a young age. So, all thinking game, strategy game.
Let me ask you this. What's the biggest reason that golf is not bigger in our communities? Is it because of misconception? And I know I'm tapping into that brain now because I know you have I, I I know you have a list of things that you can pull from. But what's the main reason why golf isn't big in our communities, and how can we fix that in our communities?
So let's say I'm gonna pick 3 things. Oh, boss said 3 things. One is I'm not going to do the whole access and resources thing
Hmm.
because we have access and we have resources if we want to have access and resources. And
Sure.
if our elders positioned us to be able to have that,
Yeah.
right? I'm not going to say that they had everything, but when you look at the amount of amateurs, men, black men, and who play golf every Saturday, every Sunday, and then you ask them, do your children play? They go, nah. I'm like, well,
Mm.
why not? Because you've looked at golf as if it's it's an escape, right? It's a way to
Yeah.
get away from family, work, all the things. You know, you can get away your mind, you can reset your brain. You can get out there on a Saturday morning and all the stress goes away. But shit, golf is stressful, but different kind of stress, right?
Yeah.
So
For sure.
I believe that one thing is that we as a culture, generationally, we have not passed down the passion for golf. But part of it is that many of us didn't pick up golf till we were the same age as you, 35,
Mm.
right? So golf was introduced to me at 4. Not many of us got that opportunity. But you, 35, I'm 51.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got to think that was 47 years ago when golf got introduced to me, 12 years
Hmm.
before you were even born. Well, no, well, not 12. Sorry. You're almost 40. You said you're almost 40. So, but for
Yeah.
me, I think one, we were not introduced to golf early. I believe that the caddying programs were taken away from us because caddies were the pipeline to professional golf and to people being able to enjoy the sport of golf. And so I would say caddies, the golf cart, the electric golf cart, motorized golf cart was
Hmm.
first step. That got rid of a lot of things there because that gave us, we couldn't go play like everyone else, but being a caddy allowed us to be able to do that. A lot will say that, so that's the golf cart. I would say municipal golf. It's accessible, but not advertised well and or managed. We live in Memphis. I was just
Yep.
talking with somebody today. Golf in Memphis is $27 at every single public golf course in Memphis. And it's free for every child 17 and under.
Yep.
However, there's only one junior golf program in Memphis that is for children, for culture, whatever, but it's first tee.
Yeah.
And they're moving it from the black neighborhoods to another neighborhood in the next months. But I'm changing that here in Memphis. I've taken that, put that on my back. So that will no longer be the only organization focused on helping young black kids. And I think that it's organizations and people who are willing to say, you know what, fuck it, I'll do it. And that's kind of me. That's always been my mindset is, you know what, fuck it, I'll just go ahead and do it. What that's an
Yeah.
hour, then I'll do that. And I'll get other people who will give an hour a week or 2 hours a week. And then now we got something that we can like actually put our teeth into. But I think
Hmm.
we look at golf as we spend thousands and thousands of dollars on golf as individuals. We'll
Hmm.
spend $500 on a new driver, knowing that we're still trash, right?
For
We were
sure.
trash with the ping driver we bought, and we still gonna be trash with this new Titleist or tailor-made driver we bought because we didn't get lessons or we didn't get custom fit. So it's gonna still be the same. It's not gonna really change, to be fair. But we would rather do that. And then when an organization says, "Hey, would you mind donating $25 to something?" You go start patting your pockets, and like, "Hey man,
Yep.
I ain't got it this month." But it's like, okay, but I see you smoking $20 cigars and $24 old fashions, smoked old fashions. But
Smoke.
you got it for yourself, but you're not willing to pay it forward. So I think if we look at it as more organizations being funded locally and regionally, they need the resources and the help. And that's one. And then I'm going to put it on black men because black
Yeah.
women are discovering golf now and new, many of them new, but we've been playing golf for a very long time and we have not passed down that passion for it that we enjoy. And I would say lastly, biggest challenge that we have is we need to lean more into and support the brands that are out there. I started in 2019 alongside with Earl and Elijah Wan, and we were the only two black owned brands. Now there's like if maybe shit 65, maybe. They're
Yeah.
small little pockets and they still got a full-time job and they do it in the garage or in the eighth
Yep.
bedroom or in the closet. Like support them. Sometimes the quality might not be what get from somebody else, but buy one.
About
Just buy one. That $40 shirt is going to make that person's day, and they got $20 more or 15 or whatever their profit margin is more than they had yesterday. And you can say, you know what? I bought one. I might not buy another one because the neck is a large and the body's a medium, but you did support. But I'd say keeping our businesses, our black golf dollar does not last very long. Our black dollar lasts seconds. Our black golf dollar
sure.
is even worse.
For sure. One of the things that I love about you, we live in Memphis, Tennessee, and because I know the area that you live, you see the bridge, and that bridge connects Memphis to Arkansas.
Yeah.
And I liken you to be a bridge. Golf has opened doors for you. It's connecting you to rooms that you may not have even been mentioned in otherwise. But one thing I love about bridges, it's not just about where it takes you, but it's about who you bring with you. And one of those things that you said, you mentioned Black women and how they're being exposed to golf more. You have a jewel of a product, a jewel of a baby, and that Sapphire Golf Tour. And it feels like you've not only just, it feels like you're bringing someone along with you, but it also feels like you are literally the bridge between golf, exposure, Black women, Black power, Black excellence. What made you take this step with Sapphire Golf Tour?
There's really I've seen enough, and I say enough, not a lot, but I've seen enough to understand where the challenges are. When you look at college golf and you look at all golf programs for men, and then you look at the golf programs for women, right? And those golf programs are like, these young women are really talented. But when you look at the Epson Tour and the WAPT Tour and the LPGA and the Ladies European Tour, those women playing at that level, every once in a while you see like a 75 and a 77, right? But like they're shooting, the winners are shooting like 68, 67, 66.
Legit.
Like, and it's like, but there's gotta be, if basketball has and NFL has developmental leagues, they might not be specifically for Black men, but look at the roster. These are all Black men on this, these little B league. And so when you look at the Canadian Football League and XFL and all these, they all want to play and have all wanted to play in the NFL since they were a child, right? But they haven't gotten there yet, but there's steps to be taken to get there. And my thing is that I've sat down with Renee Powell and I've listened to her stories and I know her whole history and I know the history with Althea Gibson and Ann Gregory. And I know that we have 8 Black women in 75 years who played on the LPGA Tour with full stat. That's not even a percent. I shared this with somebody and I said, look, it's actually almost 1/3 of a percent of the amount of women who have played professionally. It's close to like 4,500 who played over the last 75 years professionally. And Black women are only like literally up like 1/8 of a percent. Like not even 1%. We're like 1/8 of a percent. And so I was running UGA and we've had our UGA Invitational, which was the Jim Thor. And then you have these Black women come and spend their money and pay $500 to come compete in our little tournament. And there's 7 or 8 of them. And we've had purses from 15 grand to 10 grand and they come anyway. Zoe Slaughter won her first tournament as a professional with us. She got $5,000 and it paid for a ton, right? Georgia Obo has won now. She won twice this year. And she won close to, I want to say like $18,000 with us this year on the tour. That gave her an opportunity to afford to get to Latin America, the LET tour, Q school, travel with her mom, her dad, hotels, etc. Like the money, it might not be big dollars, but the money that they are winning with us are going to pay for the things that they need. And so the Sapphire Tour is literally just a bridge. It's a bridge from what we're doing with UGA to now giving them an opportunity and to play and compete as Black women and feel comfortable around other women who look like them. I'm very encouraged that they all like after each other. They're like, hey, if one's got an Airbnb and they got an extra bedroom, they invite another one. right? If
Oh,
one
that's
person,
good.
like, they got a hotel, I'll share a hotel with you. They travel together, they support each other, and they hang out after the tournament. Like,
Good.
when the tournament's over, they might be at somebody's happy hour or
Yeah.
nightclub, you know? But they're going together as a sisterhood. So what we've created is something that's unique and for the world to see that these Black women do deserve a place. Yeah, the world sucks right now with DEI and, I'll use Black everywhere else, but like I've even had to dial back a little bit in writing so
Yeah.
that on script, like on the website, it doesn't say Black women. It says women who have historically experienced barriers in performance, access to resources, money, support, and etc. I got
Yeah.
this wordle of a bunch of BS, but it still means Black women because I
Yeah.
had to do it that way. Literally, I had to chat GPT, Copilot, Gemini, just to like give me the exact so that I can keep it so that you can't try to be like, well, these women from Fiji, yeah, sure,
Yeah.
get it, but okay, but this is still our focus. You just don't, you just trying too much. You doing too much.
Yeah. You don't get it.
So we went from 4 events, Chris, and now we're going to 6 next year. I want to do 8, but I think 6 is a good 2-year bump. But I'm very excited about our schedule next year.
When you think about 2025, and I know as Black men, we usually don't do this. We don't usually take time and smell the flowers and pat ourselves on the back. But what are you most proud of from 2025? And what are you excited about in 2026?
I'm excited that again, every year there's these things.
Hmm.
Sapphire Tour was my 2025 baby.
Yeah.
I sacrificed time, relationships, friendships, personal money to make sure that this thing was successful. And right now it was a success because we did
Mhm.
it. We had 4 events and we got to 4 different cities. We had purses of $20,000. We had 2 country clubs, 2 public golf courses. And next year, I learned a lot because of getting kicked in the junk a couple of
Yeah.
times and making mistakes on contracts, not paying attention to what was going on. And next year, I had some really cool meetings with some players, with some
Hmm.
advisors, and also with leaders from the LPGA who said, "Look,
Nice.
I love what you're doing. I want to help you. Let me show you what we're doing, and you can take from whatever that is and apply it to what you think makes best, what's best." So that's what I did. I made some adjustments. We shifted the golf tournaments to instead of being on Mondays and Tuesdays, we're now on the weekends. We've chosen
Yeah.
primarily public golf courses because now we can get access to them on the weekends. Why? Because we want spectators to come watch these Black women play. So
There you go.
Monday to Tuesdays, kids are at school and adults are at work. So
Yeah.
they're going to be out there playing as if they were on another tour and there's no support there, right? You play better when you got somebody cheering and clapping and rooting for you. You feel a sense of pride, and I wanted that for them because they deserve that. So next year, I'll zip through it quickly. We're coming to Memphis. And Memphis, I got a meeting with the mayor tomorrow. This will not even make sense weeks from now. But the mayor and the city are like, we're all in. I got sponsors, title sponsor conversations are happening. We'll have 400 to 500 people out there in Memphis with 2
Beautiful.
hospitality tents, music, jumbotron, food trucks. Like it's gonna be crazy here in Memphis. And then we go to Denver, Colorado. The other thing about Memphis, though, I'm going to be adding like 14 extra amateurs, which are going to be, I'm going to go
Nice.
find 6 of our top junior young ladies who are like in high school, who are heading off to college in the fall, but want
Oh
that
man.
one opportunity to say, you know what? Let me, this is that big opportunity for them to go play in a tour event and then
Yeah.
talk to some of these HBCU coaches and other young ladies who are playing collegiately and give them an opportunity to play. And some of them may have a challenge with that, but I'll announce it here on your show. Sapphire Tour has a new NIL initiative. So now we're going to be signing collegiate players so they can now come play in our tournaments and not deal with the NCAA restrictions of only making $999. So if a collegiate player actually plays in our tour and a tournament, they can make more above and beyond the $999.
Man.
As if they end up getting second place and win 4 grand, they can get all of it. It won't be in that bunch. They'll get
Yeah.
their initial $999, and then there'll be some social media, interviews, other things that you have to earn the
Yeah.
balance. But you'll get it in 30 days, but it's the whole point of actually getting all of it is the key.
Right.
Then we go to Denver, playing at Common Ground. I can't wait to support Ben Pennyman, who's the GM. He's a good brother. I know him, known him for 14 years now. And then we leave there and we go to the Essence Festival in New Orleans.
Major.
So we're going to be this
Major.
weekend as Essence Festivals. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're going to be right in there for the July weekend. And we leave there. And you got to think, you got 20,000 plus Black women in town. There's a lot of energy. There's nothing happening between 8 o'clock and 2, except for we're trying to solve a hangover.
Yep.
And like,
exactly what I was going to say.
Where's breakfast? So,
yep.
And then we leave there. We go to Chicago for the WNBA All-Star Game.
Nice.
Yep. So that weekend will be the premier golf tournament that weekend. And then we'll go to Atlanta. And then we're going to finish the tournament in the series. Our championship will be in Maryland. And it's going to be in partnership with what's called Sports Innovation. And that's the new initiative with Prince George's County and Colin Kaepernick.
Man, I'm so inspired right now because of everything that you said. But most of all, it's just the passion that you have for these Black women, for the sport. And it's very just motivating. And I have yet to make the announcement, but in March, I will be starting a golf podcast. And I want to make sure that I collab with you. I want to make sure that I'm able to tell those stories of some of those players who, like you said, who are looking for those NIL deals, who may not have the ability to, hell, even pay their rent for the semester or buy books for the semester. But now they're able to say, hey, you know what? I'm in this tournament. I just won $4,000. This is going to set me up for the next semester or two. So for that, it's like, it's major what you're doing. And because you're in Memphis, I'm even more happy because I know the golf culture here in Memphis to an extent. And what you're doing is going to change the city of Memphis, not just the golf community, but change the city of Memphis. And that's what I'm excited about as well. When you think about 2026, I know that there's a lot going on. What's the one major thing that you're looking forward in 2026? Just Tarek as a person, what are you looking forward to?
Personally, I want to say personally and professionally. Personally, someone asked me this question and I want to give myself more grace.
There you go.
I want to give myself grace. No one's perfect, but I'm tough on me, but I know that I have a lot of people depending on me. But I also have to give myself grace and say it's going to be fine. Today might not be great, but tomorrow will be better. Personally, that is what I want to do for myself. And then professionally, I want to keep inspiring young people, both boys and girls. The thing is that the pipeline is thinning, Chris.
Yep.
We're seeing less kids. The COVID was a spike. We got a spike in COVID and that was great. But now it's like, okay, golf is still here. The golf courses are still here, but we're seeing a diminishing number of kids on the younger side. And so the pipeline has to be built. And the only way to do that is to provide these young people with inspiring opportunities to see professionals doing something that they see that I could possibly do that, which is why we're excited because I want to do it on the weekends because I want to inspire. When I go into cities, it's collab with the AKAs and the Deltas and SG Rose and Zetas and Links, right? And all these women who have cotillions and young women and mentee programs, and they sponsor working with the YMCAs and the Big Brothers and Big Sisters and the elementary and middle and high schools and work with the city to say, hey, bring these kids here. Where else can you bring 200 kids to an event for free to watch close up? You take them to a basketball game at the Grizzlies, they're going to be up there in the damn rafters. I want these girls here within 10 feet of women who look like
Yep.
their mom, their aunt, their grandmother. Well, our players aren't that old, but still, we want them to see like golf is accessible. And in Memphis specifically, it's free, and so it's
Yep.
like now we need more programs. So it's really a matter of doing something special in Memphis is really Memphis. I got a lot of things on my back, but Memphis has no idea what I'm going to do to Memphis and next.
Can't
And
wait,
it's
man.
very exciting. And I'm hoping that you'll be right there
For
with
sure.
me because I think you being here, me being here, the Mid-South Junior Golf Association was the heartbeat of golf for Black kids since 1992. And 300 kids are being taught the game of golf through this organization. And it got dissolved because same thing that happened to UGA, same thing happened to them. And so I'm going to resurrect MSJGA this year and find a director of golf to run it and get a board. And so that it can now start raising money and start
Yep.
servicing these 50,000 kids here in the city. And you got to think, Memphis is a 65% Black city.
Sure.
It's a Black city.
Yeah.
But you got free golf. And I just want to see more kids out there. Every public golf course is underperforming here.
Yes.
It's not a bad thing, but it's a bad thing. But you can definitely find people to go out and play, but
Sure.
there's no advertising for it. No one knows that it's free for children.
Yep. I actually grew up in Atlanta, and by my elementary school, there were about 2 or 3 golf courses within 15 minutes of the school. But nobody ever came to my school and said, hey, let me introduce you all to golf. Let me show you why this is cool. Mind you, I'm in elementary school. We have PE, we have gym, not to mention middle school, high school. I grew up in the inner city schools. I grew up in the hood. Nobody ever came to the school and introduced us to golf. And I believe a lot of things, you only know what you know. And if you're not exposed to it, then you don't know anything about it. And I believe that what you're going to do, what Sapphire is doing, is going to provide that exposure for so many people who didn't know what was possible. We often talk about President Barack Obama. Now, Black kids who grew up in that time period can know that you can become a president. There are some people who've taken that idea and ran with it with themselves, some adults who've taken that idea and ran with it for themselves, but that's a whole different story. I wanna lighten it up a little bit. I call this 3 on 3.
Okay.
These are 3 questions. You give me 3 answers. I listen and I do not judge. I probably agree with you on some of these.
Yeah, lean into the camera. So all right, come on, hit me with.
I already know one of these is going to be on your list. Give me 3 of your favorite drinks.
Moscow old fashioned,
Yep.
which is something that's I've now discovered, which I really enjoy. Ginger beer.
Yes.
That is a favorite drink of mine casually. No advertisements, but this right here, the Arizona green tea. It's typically not very far and they're $1 and I can find them anywhere.
They are recession proof. They have been 99 cents since I was a kid.
Arizona green tea, undefeated.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
I'm pretty sure you're a music person. So I just want to know 3 music artists that you are listening to right now. It doesn't have to be your favorites. It's just people that you're listening to right now.
This week was all over the place.
For sure. Same.
Burna Boy.
Okay.
One. I love his music and energy. Buena Vista Social Club, which is a Cuban band. I love Afro-Cuban music.
I love it.
Just keeps me going. And during the day while I'm working, it's odd, but I listen to, it's almost like white noise, but it's the sounds of monks chanting, and because it's soothing. So it's not music per se, but for me, it's quiets my brain and it feeds my brain. That allows me not to listen to a lot of noise. So a lot of what I listen to in music it's more just like melodic tunes, which is Buena Vista Social Club. I may not know what they're saying, but it sounds amazing. Anchan is my favorite song of theirs. But yeah, but again, African sounds from Burna Boy. Again, Afro-Cuban music with Buena Vista Social Club and chanting monks.
Hey, I'm here for it. I'm open to new things. I definitely want to tap into that Afro-Cuban. I
Yeah,
feel like that may be the vibe for me.
it's like it's not terrible. It's not terrible. I'll send you the. I'll send,
Okay. And give me 3 people that you would love to golf with. And it could be, let's go alive. I don't want to be morbid. Let's go 3 people you'll love to golf with.
I would. I never got a. I'm gonna be this grandfather, my father, because that's where I get my golf from. And they introduced me to golf, and my son. I'm not the
That's dope.
guy. I was never the guy who saw role models in public people.
Yeah.
My role models were always people who I had access to. So like my people who I consider like my role models growing up were like my friends, Sean
Yep.
Bailey, Jason Lambert, Kevin Thompson, these guys, Chad Jones. These guys were people who I sat down with, I bumped my head with, I got in trouble with, but we all made better decisions along the way. And I thank them for being, leaders in high school. And it helped. Again, I still call on these people often for advice. But yeah, so for me, role models, I can't just call up Michael Jordan asking for some advice,
Right.
not to me. But yeah, so I would say I chose those people because for me, yes, they're family, they're my DNA, but I played golf with a lot of celebrities already. I mean, people want to say Tiger Woods. I think he's more fun now as he's gotten older because
Yeah,
before he was a machine. I mean, it would be great. It'd be cool. I would enjoy it.
for
But I
sure.
think some other people I probably would enjoy playing with. Um, to be fair, it's some of the Sapphire Tour players because I don't get a chance to play with them. But this year, I will be playing more with them socially because
Mhm.
I want to be able to enjoy their energy and watching them play in the golf carts with them. So
How can people assist you? How can people pledge, donate? Where can they go to further support your mission and your cause?
right now, two things. United Golfers Association. You can go right to our website, unitedgolfersassociation.org. Scroll down. There's donate buttons all over the place. Not hard to find and figure out what to do. But we have something called the Sapphire Founders Club. We've created our own crowdfunding platform that will allow people to actually donate $25 a year, a month, quarterly or annually or monthly, 25 all the way up to 250,000. So we have 3 tiers. You could choose from 25, 50 to 100, and we have 250, 500, 1,000. But the goal is to do what people talk about, like how do we really raise money? And group economics is something that is not that damn complicated. And
Yeah.
so my whole thing is the Founders Club is tiered for a reason. There's benefits to every tier and every level. Free tickets to you sponsor at $100,000. You can be a title sponsor for a golf tournament, right? So now
Yeah.
you got your own name on it. You put your mark on the tour and you're supporting the tour in a way that it's beneficial to you as a brand or an organization and or obviously the women. The money from this Founders Club goes directly to assisting and supporting the women and for operations for the tournament and also the swag and all the gifts that actually have to go toward them. So, but you go to sapphiregolftour.com/founders and all the information is on there. Again, this is all for them. They deserve it. And I will continue to work my tail off to ensure that the resources are there for the decades to come and for the next generation of juniors and collegiate players who want to follow in their footsteps.
Tariq, I know I'm getting myself in trouble by asking this. As a leader, I was trying to end it, but something just hit my mind. As a leader, how difficult or what advice would you have for leaders who, like, you're able to sit here, you're talking about your mission, you're talking about the good work. A lot of people want to be leaders, but they don't know how to deal with being the face of a corporation. Can you tell me some advice? Can you tell those leaders advice on how to you just have to do it essentially, but what are some of those key elements for you? because everybody isn't comfortable just doing this. But if you're the leader, you kind of have to, right?
You do. And although people think that I like being on camera, I really don't. I
Yeah.
don't want to be the face of Sapphire Tour. My tour players are the face of the Sapphire Tour. I'll
Hmm.
get on camera and do a video, but I would rather give one of the tour players the script and have them say it than me.
Yeah.
However, we are in a world of content.
Hmm.
Content wins, is king and queen, and is something that's necessary and required for success at any level, whether it be a for-profit or a not-for-profit. There's one word, and a friend of mine gave me that word a long time ago, and it's tenacity. Just have a tenacious behavior, almost psychopath kind of a spirit and commitment to seeing it all the way through. This is not for everybody. It's not, especially in the philanthropic world. Not everybody wants to give what you think that they want to give. But that doesn't mean that you don't create it so that you can give them a reason. You can ask people for $25 and you might get 20 people give you $25. Or you can ask the right person for 10 grand and they'll give you, and that's one ask. So one ask or 100 asks for the same thing, and you'll end up sometimes right around the same number that you were at anyway. So it's friendships and relationships are currency, and use that to your advantage.
One of the funny things I mentioned earlier that it reminded me of something from years ago. Years ago, in that 2000 era, COVID golf era, I tried to start a clothing brand called Up to Par. But I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't know that you probably needed a lot of capital if you're going to roll out some clothing lines.
Yeah.
If you want to do it the right way, if you don't want to do Shopify or any of these third party vendors, then you're going to need some capital. And I remember reaching out to you, and one part of the advice was don't stay focused on the no. And that's what I remember specifically. I was trying to look for the message, couldn't find it. It's probably down in the black abyss, in the black hole somewhere. But I remember you saying, don't settle for the no. It only takes one yes. And that's what I gathered business wise. And that's what has actually helped me in this space that I'm in now, in the media space. I don't care about hearing no. It's that yes. I mean, the worst thing that can happen when I ask somebody to jump on is they say no, or they ghost me. But the best thing could be that they get on an interview with me. We help create change. We help change somebody's mindset. Somebody sees this and makes the biggest donation for whatever cause that you're doing.
One person to see
it. That's all it takes. So I appreciate your time. I appreciate you jumping on with me. I knew before we even had this conversation, I knew it would last almost an hour. In my mind, I said 30. I was going to give it 45, but I see that we're creeping up on an hour. But I knew what was going to happen. I want to know, where can people find you? Where can people follow you? And how can they get in contact with you?
If you go to Sapphire Golf Tour's Instagram or United Golfers Association Instagram and send a DM, I'm going to see it. If you need to get me directly, it's Ty, Ty at UGA, as in United Golfers Association.golf. So Ty at UGA.golf. That's easy as email. Everything else is long. Yeah. But thank you, man, Chris, for this platform, man. I mean, giving people who don't have a voice or might be shy or have always wanted to understand or share their story or their journey is important. I think the more we could share, the better. I'm not encouraged always, and I may get in trouble for this, but I don't care. I'm not encouraged when I go to YouTube and there's a documentary on Lee Elder or Charlie Sifford or Renee Powell, and is funded and narrated by someone who doesn't look like us. Like, just, can we create content for us a little bit in golf?
It's our story.
It's our story. Not to say that it can't be, but we appreciate it. But
Right.
Finding someone who has the tonality, the intonation that sounds like us to do it, and it is what it is, be mad or not. But for me, most important thing right now is seeing more brothers like you take advantage of these podcast platforms and creating something that's going to be special. And then it's a voice that'll be there, for a very long time, because once it's out there, it's out there.
It's out there.
And so, and whether you get 10 views today or 10 views tomorrow, look, we had no idea, but what we did 14 million impressions on iHeartMedia since
Wow.
August. It took one guy in Planet Fitness to be listening to iHeartMedia and heard Sapphire Golf Tour, and he works for golf.com, and he did a 2-part docu on the tour, and that's how you saw those cool documentaries that they did. It's just one guy, and you know what?
Just
He
one.
doesn't look like this, like us. It doesn't matter. You just need someone to go like, you know what? This is fucking awesome,
Yep.
and it's well deserved. And like, let's do something. Let's do the right thing and support it. And I think right now that's just kind of where we are. But man, I appreciate you. My goal and hope is that you obviously could also get people who are sponsoring your podcast,
For
so
sure.
that this has been brought to us by X, because that's how money's made. That's how,
Yep.
a lot of the other people are making money. It's just, you got to start it. You can't be
Yep.
afraid to start.
Exactly. Tariq, this isn't our last time talking. I know that for sure. I look forward to partnership, collaborations. 2026 is going to be big. I can't wait to see what happens. I'm excited about your future. I'm excited about our future. So for those of you all who are watching, make sure you lock in, make sure you tap in. I'm telling you about us now because sooner or later, it's going to be introducing to some, presenting to others. So get familiar with us now. Get familiar with our faces. Make sure you lock in, like, subscribe, follow on all of the social media platforms. If you missed anything, there's a website called google.com, and you can just type in Sapphire Golf Tour. You can type in UGA Golf Association, that is, not University of Georgia.
No,
Make
not doubt.
sure. Yeah. Make sure you type the right thing in. So definitely make sure you tap in with us, and we'll see you next time.